Welcome back to the EcoHub podcast. Today we're doing a deep dive into a report about young social entrepreneurs in Kyushu.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's a February 2024 report from the Kyushu Economic Research Association,
Okay.
and it really dives into some of the challenges facing the region.
Got it. Like what kinds of challenges?
Well, they talk about a shrinking population for one thing,
Uh,
lagging incomes,
mm.
and lack of free time.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one. Especially for young people and families.
Right, and the report makes this point that all of that together can lead to economic stagnation.
Yeah, I see that. If people don't have time or money to spend, it's definitely going to hurt the economy.
Exactly, and then they go on to compare Kyushu with some of those booming East Asian cities.
Oh, yeah, the ones with like skyrocketing incomes and all the young people flocking to them.
Exactly, and the report seems to be saying Kyushu needs to step up its game to compete.
It's like a global talent war out there.
Right, and then on top of all that, there's this looming threat of natural disasters.
Oh, right, like earthquakes.
Yeah.
Japan's had its share of those.
Yeah, and specifically, they talk about this Nankai Trough earthquake.
Oh, wow, that's the big one they keep talking about.
Yeah, scientists are predicting it could be magnitude 9 or even higher,
Yikes.
potentially causing massive tsunamis.
That's scary. Is the report saying that Kyushu isn't prepared?
Well, it definitely raises some concerns about the region's preparedness.
That's a lot to deal with. Shrinking population, lagging incomes, threat of a massive earthquake. Anything else?
Oh, yeah. They also talk about the aging infrastructure in Kyushu. Like, a lot of it is nearing the end of its lifespan.
Oh, wow. That's a problem waiting to happen.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
they bring up this whole issue of slow progress on decarbonization and digitalization,
Decarbonization, I get, but what do they mean by digitalization?
like adopting new technologies.
Yeah.
Things like AI and automation.
So basically Kyushu is falling behind in those areas too.
That's what the report suggests. It's like they're saying Kyushu's stuck in the slow lane while the rest of the world is speeding ahead.
It's a lot to take in.
It is. But here's where things get interesting.
Okay, I'm listening.
The report points to social entrepreneurs as a potential solution.
Social entrepreneurs, so like businesses with a social mission.
Yeah.
Making money, but also trying to solve problems.
Exactly. And they highlight some really cool examples.
Like what?
Well, there's this one company that's promoting Kyushu's unique duck cuisine.
Duck cuisine. Interesting.
Yeah, it's like this whole cultural thing. And they're using it to boost tourism and the local economy.
Oh, that's smart. Using something unique to the region to attract visitors.
Right. And then there's this other example. It's a startup that's providing IT training for people with disabilities.
Wow, that's addressing two issues at once. The talent shortage and promoting inclusivity.
Exactly. So they're not just about warm and fuzzy feelings. They're actually tackling real economic challenges.
I'm impressed. But I'm sure it's not all smooth sailing. What kind of hurdles do these social entrepreneurs face?
Well, the report talks about funding being a major challenge. Investors are often hesitant to back ventures that prioritize social impact over profits.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a tough sell.
Right. And then there's the whole issue of finding and attracting talent.
I bet. Finding people with the right skills and who are passionate about the mission can't be easy.
And then, of course, there's always the dreaded paperwork. Navigating all the bureaucratic hurdles can be a real energy drain.
Oh yeah, red tape can be a nightmare. But it sounds like despite these challenges, there are some positive opportunities too, right?
Definitely. The report highlights collaboration as a key area of potential.
Collaboration. Like between who?
Well, they talk about partnerships between social entrepreneurs, local governments, and established businesses,
Yeah.
combining the innovation of startups with the resources of larger organizations.
I see. So it's about finding synergy and leveraging each other's strengths. But wouldn't there be a risk of those social entrepreneurs losing their unique edge if they get too cozy with the establishment?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And the report actually acknowledges that concern. Finding the right balance between collaboration and independence is going to be crucial.
Makes sense. So what else stood out to you in the report?
Well, I was really intrigued by their emphasis on certain skills that they believe will be essential for social entrepreneurs to thrive.
Yeah.
Especially in a world that's becoming increasingly influenced by AI.
Oh, interesting. So like coding and AI development.
Not exactly.
Yeah.
They actually focus more on those uniquely human skills,
Yeah.
like critical thinking and scientific reasoning.
So those skills that are less likely to be automated.
Right, because those are the skills that will become even more valuable as AI takes on more routine tasks.
That's a really interesting perspective. It's not just about solving today's problems, but also about equipping these entrepreneurs for a future where those human skills are going to be at a premium.
Exactly. And speaking of future thinking, the report goes on to discuss some specific case studies.
Case studies. Tell me more.
So they highlight these two workshops, one in Agori City
Okay.
and one in Ishihara Village.
Got it. And what were these workshops about?
Well, they brought together a mix of stakeholders, local government, businesses, and of course those social entrepreneurs. The goal was to brainstorm and collaborate on solutions to some of the challenges facing those communities.
Sounds like a great way to get everyone on the same page and working towards a common goal. What kind of things did they focus on?
The Aguri City workshop was all about promoting their duck-related culture. Remember that company we talked about earlier?
Yeah.
The one promoting duck cuisine? They played a key role in this workshop.
Oh, right. That's cool.
And then the Nishihara Village workshop was focused on job creation and revitalizing the local economy. But the really interesting thing is that both workshops highlight one key takeaway:
What's that?
the importance of bringing diverse perspectives together.
So it's not just about social entrepreneurs working in isolation. It's about fostering a sense of community involvement and getting everyone on board with the mission.
Exactly. And they actually had a really fascinating realization during the workshop in Nishihara Village.
Oh, what was it?
Many of the residents weren't even aware of some of the hidden gems in their own village. It took an outsider's perspective to recognize that untapped potential.
Wow, that's a great example of how fresh perspectives can really spark innovation. Sometimes we're so close to something we don't even see the possibilities.
Right, and it really reinforces the idea that collaboration is key. It's not about having all the answers yourself. It's about being open to new ideas and recognizing that the best solutions often come from unexpected places.
Totally agree. It's about creating a space where those different voices can be heard and valued.
Exactly. And that leads perfectly into the next part of our discussion, where we'll delve deeper into how to nurture that supportive ecosystem. But before we do that, I'd love to hear your initial thoughts. What surprised you? What stood out to you from this first part of the report?
You know what really struck me was that emphasis on critical thinking and scientific reasoning. It's like they're saying, hey, in a world where AI is becoming more and more prevalent, those uniquely human skills will be even more valuable.
I thought that was really interesting, too. It's a powerful message for young people who are thinking about their careers.
Totally. It's a good reminder that while technology is important, it's ultimately those human qualities that will make a real difference.
Our ability to think critically, to solve problems creatively, and to connect with each other on a deeper level.
Exactly. And those are qualities that social entrepreneurs embody in a very real way.
Absolutely. But we'll dive into all of that more in the next part of our deep dive, so stay tuned.
So we talked about all those challenges those social entrepreneurs are facing.
Right, and some of the opportunities, too, like collaboration.
Yeah, but the report actually goes deeper than that.
Oh, in what way?
Well, they talk about this idea of creating a whole supportive ecosystem for social entrepreneurs.
An ecosystem. What do they mean by that?
It's about creating the right conditions for those social ventures to thrive.
I see. So it's not just about giving them money or resources.
Right. It's about creating a whole environment that's conducive to their success.
And what are some of the key ingredients of this ecosystem?
Well, one thing they emphasize is the need to promote social entrepreneurship to a wider audience.
That makes sense.
Right.
But social entrepreneurship can seem like such a niche thing.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Not everyone's cut out to be an entrepreneur, let alone one with a social mission.
Exactly. So how do you reach those people who might not even consider themselves entrepreneurial?
That's where storytelling comes in.
Storytelling.
Yeah. The report talks about sharing success stories, highlighting the real-world impact of these ventures.
Oh, I see. So it's about showing people that it's possible to make a difference.
Exactly. When people see tangible results, it becomes much more relatable.
Like, if they can do it, maybe I can too. It's inspiring.
Right, and it makes the whole concept less intimidating. But
Right.
the report also stresses those human skills we talked about before.
Oh, you mean critical thinking and scientific reasoning?
Exactly. But I was thinking, wouldn't it be hard to attract talent if you focus on those skills, especially when the tech sector is like gobbling up anyone with those abilities?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a competitive market out there for sure.
Right. But the report argues that those human skills are exactly what will set social entrepreneurs apart.
How so?
Well, it's about appealing to people who are driven by more than just money.
You mean people who want to make a difference in the world?
Exactly. People who are looking for a sense of purpose in their work. Which brings me to something we haven't talked about much.
What's that?
Technology. Specifically AI.
Oh, yeah. The report didn't really go into that, did it?
No, but I keep thinking about all the potential ways AI could be used to support social entrepreneurs.
Like how?
Well, imagine using AI to personalize training programs for social entrepreneurs, tailoring the content to their specific needs and goals.
Oh, that's interesting. So like an AI tutor for social good.
Exactly. Or what about using AI to connect entrepreneurs with resources they need?
Resources like funding opportunities
Yeah.
or mentors.
Yeah. It could be like an AI matchmaker for social impact.
I love that. And what about using AI to predict future social needs?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Could AI help social entrepreneurs stay ahead of the curve and develop solutions before problems even arise?
That's a fascinating possibility. Imagine social entrepreneurs armed with all this data-driven insight.
It's like giving them a superpower.
Right. It's not about replacing human intuition and ingenuity. It's about enhancing it with the power of AI.
That's a really important point. It's not about AI versus humans. It's about how they can work together.
Exactly. AI isn't a threat to social entrepreneurship. It's a potential ally.
I like that. AI is an ally for good. But I'm also curious, with all this talk about collaboration, could there be a downside to relying too heavily on AI?
What do you mean?
Well, could it hinder the human connection that seems so important to this whole movement?
Oh, I see what you mean. That's a really important consideration.
Right. We can't let technology become a barrier to genuine human interaction.
Absolutely. It's about finding that balance, leveraging AI's capabilities while also nurturing those vital human connections. But, this whole report is focused on Kyushu.
Right.
But these challenges aren't unique to Japan, are they?
Not at all. I see parallels with regions all over the world. Shrinking populations, economic anxieties, the need for innovative solutions. It's like Kyushu is a microcosm of the bigger issues facing our planet.
I agree, and that's what makes this report so compelling.
It's not just about one region.
Right. It's about exploring a new model for social and economic progress, a model that prioritizes purpose, collaboration, and human-centered solutions.
It's about asking ourselves, what role do we want to play in shaping a better future? It's a call to action, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And it's not just about governments or big corporations.
It's about individuals, too.
Exactly. Each of us can make a difference, whether it's supporting local social enterprises or volunteering our time or simply spreading awareness about these issues.
I love that. Every little bit counts. It's about recognizing that we're not powerless. We have a voice. We can make a difference.
Exactly. And as we wrap up this part of our discussion, what's one key takeaway you want our listeners to remember?
This report made me realize that we need to shift our thinking. It's not just about profits anymore. It's about purpose.
I agree. And it's about recognizing that social entrepreneurship isn't just some fringe movement.
It's a powerful force for change.
It's a way to build a more sustainable and equitable future for everyone.
Yeah, it's really inspiring to see people coming together and trying to make a difference.
It is. And this report, it's not just about Kyushu. It has implications for so many other regions that are facing those similar problems.
Exactly. Shrinking populations, economic anxieties, the need for creative solutions.
Yeah, it's like Kyushu is a microcosm of what's happening all over the world.
I agree. And it's like they're offering this blueprint for change.
Sort of, but it's not like a one-size-fits-all kind of thing.
Right.
Each region has to figure out what works for them.
Exactly. Adapt those ideas to their specific context.
It's about taking action, experimenting, seeing what sticks.
It's a call to action for all of us.
It really is. And, it doesn't have to be these huge, grand gestures.
Right.
Sometimes the most impactful changes start small.
Locally.
Yeah, exactly. Like supporting a local social enterprise.
Or volunteering.
Or even just talking about these issues with other people, spreading the word.
Yeah, raising awareness.
Because every little bit helps.
It all adds up.
It does, and it shows that we're not just bystanders.
Right.
We can actually do something.
We have the power to make change.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's one thing you want our listeners to take away from this report?
That's a good question. I think the biggest takeaway for me is that we need to rethink our priorities.
In what way?
Well, we've been so focused on profits for so long.
Yeah.
But this report, it really highlights the importance of purpose.
Yeah, it's not just about making money anymore.
Right. It's about making a difference.
And using business as a force for good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where social entrepreneurs come in.
They're leading the way, showing us that it's possible.
To create businesses that are both profitable and socially responsible.
And that's something we should all be supporting.
Absolutely. So there you have it, folks. Another deep dive on the EcoHub podcast.
Hope you enjoyed it.
And be sure to tune in next time for more fascinating discussions.